Hey dudes, it's me, Mighty the Armadillo here, and I am from the likes of the Maxi Toys videos, as always, Spin. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Mario Party 5 for the Nintendo GameCube. So last weekend is the fact that we actually not only just managed to show ourselves story mode, but also we did manage to show ourselves the forms of Super Duel mode. And overall, I did manage able to win 2 tournaments, both are flag tournament or the flag competition and the Robo Rabbit competition, but I just got myself butt kicked by Bowser during the course of the finals in the forms of the battle competition. But regardless of anything else though, I did that in a pretty decent run. Well, let's just say a good run nonetheless. So I suppose for the majority of this weekend, and especially noticeable from the likes of the upcoming future weekends and stuff like that, is that we're going to be focusing on the biggest mode ever in terms of Mario Party 5. That's what appears to be the minigame mode. And he was actually being hosted by Muscular, which is actually based off from that Star Spirit from the likes of Chapter 4, in the forms of the original Paper Mario. But yeah, we only got about 3 modes to go through once Mario Party 5 was actually going to be finished by then. So either way though, let's get this thing to it. So either way though, as far as player choice for this, the majority of the minigame mode, I think we should probably stick to the point with, let's just say, full hat people crew. Like, for instance, Mario and the computer players are, well, I would try to able to select Luigi, and of course, I'm going to be able to select Wario and Waluigi, both on very, well, let's just say hard mode, because I still haven't unlocked intense mode yet, so I'll get around to that at some point. So we actually have ourselves a few different modes. So we have free play, minigame battle, minigame circuit, minigame decathlon, minigame wars, minigame tournament, and well, that's pretty much about it. So of course we're able to actually show off these modes first. So in this case we have minigame battle, and basically if you guys ever played Mario Party 2, Mario Party 3, and Mario Party 4, for the sake of the minigame battle, you know, with the actual tally bars and all that stuff, you know, with that specific kind of modes, well, basically they make them return during the course of Mario Party 5, and eventually are able to make its return during the course of Mario Party 6 and Mario Party 7, and even Mario Party 8, so not much else different from there, apart from the fact that it's actually now becoming a little bit more well, a bit standard this time around, as opposed to the forms of, well, I don't know how do I usually explain about this for the sake of time. And for this particular video, I'm going to be doing 7 matches and all that stuff, and the majority are going to be only 4-player minigames. I know you guys are probably going to say, what about 2 versus 2? Well, the truth is though, is the fact that I won't get able to show those off at, let's just say in free play, or minigame circuit, if we manage to get around into that, so, but hopefully we're able to actually just to see those minigames due time though. So anyway, let's just begin. Nightlight Fright again, and of course that these 3 players managed to able to did slightly too early, but at least they did a little bit more of improvement over the likes of the normal difficulty, because either way though, they just managed able to sometimes manage to get knocked out, or even they just managed to do it in the earliest time possible for able to flash their, like, you know, torch to able to actually just to get enough good distance from that little chain jump and what have you. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much sums up from there. So yeah, for the majority of those 4-player minigames that we already seen these, except for this last minigame that we have not shown yet, that's what appears to be, of course, you know, Frozen Frenzy, which we'll get into that at some point, if depending on the actual minigame roulettes, as in usually becomes a thing. So but I digress. So either way though, a few things I want to explain when it comes to this today's uploading schedule is that one thing I totally forgot to mention about this ever since in during the forms of the Super Duel mode video, that was the fact that yes, in during the forms of last Sunday, if I recall correctly, because today's day is of course the 7th of August today, in this case in 2021, and well, as you probably already know, that last Sunday is that the Lego Luigi set has now finally come to it, well, in stores. And what I've noticed is the fact that, well, everyone seemed to able to have well, some mixed feelings when it comes to likely some several sets. But honestly, I just pretty excited to see how LEGO Luigi now finally comes into play. Even though, you know, it functions the same thing as LEGO Mario was, except now that with the forms of a different, you know, obstacles and stuff like that. Which, I haven't really bought that much LEGO Mario sets ever since then. Although, mind you, I did manage able to, you know, already brought the forms of the starter pack Super Mario Lego, and because of that though, I found it quite a nice little addition to the forms of the actual the Lego sets of mine, because even then though, it has been donkey's years since I actually last brought Lego to the table, but regardless of everything else though, is the fact that, well, I just don't know if I can also able to keep it forever, but I'm also able to give that, you know, Lego Super Mario set a second chance or something, but either way though, it knows what it is. So, either way though, another thing is worth mentioning for is the fact that in terms of the forms of other things I would like to discuss, I've recently managed to able to 100% everything in terms of The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD recently for the Nintendo Switch. Got all the heart containers, pieces of hearts, and also say applies to the forms of mandatory upgraded weapons and all that stuff though. And also not to mention that I was expecting if I was gonna go for, well, let's just say hero mode on that particular HD remastered version, but I probably won't gonna do that for two reasons mostly. Because for number one, I haven't exactly touched upon new forms of the secondary playthroughs of certain Zelda games. Although, I did manage to able to try out Master Quest on Ocarina of Time for the Nintendo GameCube. But I didn't get around into that, just because of the forms of, well, it might be pretty hard for me to able to get into it these days, especially noticeable on the 3DS version as well. And, let's just not, let's just also mention about the fact that, well, usually relatively speaking, I will get around into that, but not now though, just because either way though, is the fact that, well, at the moment, I've managed able to complete, you know, Skyward Sword HD, and, once I've managed to complete that game, then I'm probably gonna get a hit back onto Mario Golf Super Rush for my spare time. And, yeah, there's not much else to say, honestly. Even though, mind you, that I do apologize for the actual commentary gets a bit, well, slightly out of breath, mainly it's because I did a lot of exercise for the sake of the forms of, well, I'm probably not going to do it on the heat wave, obviously, because otherwise I'm also able to collapse by then. So because of that though, definitely not going to do the forms of exercise during the heat wave and stuff, because otherwise, you know, I might as well be thirsty to death. Although, mind you, that I've managed able to get myself a nice little pre-order bonus for the likes of the forms of Mario Golf Super Rush, which appears to be, of course, the actual water bottle they did manage to include, which I think I forgot to mention about that during the course of the forms of, you know, Mario Party 5 Let's Play, so, darn it, no! I keep on messing things up. Darn it, my control stick not working on me. I was literally one step away from Luigi. Although, mind you, that if me and Luigi managed to land on the exact same, meters and stuff like that, when it comes to height and everything, if we somehow manage to get a two-way tie, it will not count as win. So, because of that, though, yeah, that's something's worth noting for anyway. So, I think I'll let, Luigi win that. So, even though he did pretty dang well right there, so... Although originally I was expecting to be able to do a 3-win battle, but it might actually be a lot shorter than I was expecting. So finally, Frozen Frenzy, a new minigame. And plus because of that, that concludes all of the 4-player minigames. So punch, kick, and ground pound your opponents to take crystals from them. Whoever has the most crystals at the end wins. So basically it's the fact that there are a grand total of 5 crystals altogether, and basically your job is to simply just manage to able to keep a hold of the crystals as long as possible. So because of that though, within 45 seconds, so a little bit odd for the sake of that time limit right there, but regardless of everything else though, that's all I can usually expect. Although one thing I totally forgot to mention about this, ever since Enduring Forms have been, well, let's just say in Super Duel mode video that I just did ever since in last Sunday, that generally this wasn't the first time that in a Mario Party game history they managed able to incorporate the forms of the 90 seconds time limit for the sake of the forms of certain minigames, because that honor goes to, well, let's just say, treasure divers from the likes of the original Mario Party. So, yeah, that's something it's worth noting for, especially noticeable because it's pretty obvious is that it's been about a year since we actually did the original Mario Party for the sake of the forms of the redo Let's Play in mind, with, you know, better quality, much more better commentary, and, of course, well, you know, much better quality in general, too. So, you know, you get the suggestions by that point, so it looks like I only got about 2 points left until I'm able to become a champion from the likes of, well, minigame battle. And of course, the next minigame we'll hop on to is Popstar Piranhas, even though the last time I went to this minigame I did quite poorly, but either way though, hopefully I'll give this minigame another chance. But this time around though, we're actually now going to compete against with, well, you know, harder computer players. So let's see how the other three players are doing. So either way though, if I'm guessing correctly, it will be, that? Why? Oh, nice. Nicely done. So now on to the last face. And I think it's pretty obvious it's A. Yeah, it's definitely A, because I can tell from his, really, Wario? At first I thought you were gonna go for A, but you accidentally select B. That doesn't look right there, Wario. That does not look right at all. And of course that me and Luigi and Waluigi managed to win at the same time, so this means no reward. So, yeah, that's something's worth noting for anyway. So, at least we can able to do a different minigame at least. So in this case we are doing triple jump. So I think the last time we played triple jump it was actually on Bowser Nightmare, which again, I always said this before, I wasn't really too impressed with that board. Mainly it's because of the forms of well, lack of everything from my part, but definitely not one of my favorite, you know, Bowser-themed finale boards for sure, just because, well, it seems pretty obvious. It's the fact that, well, I've already explained this quite a lot recently, so either way though, there's not much right to home about, so... Anyways, let's keep on mashing the forms of, well, I already done my turn, so either way though, that begs the question for the sake of time, so, but I digress. Also another thing is worth mentioning for this point as well is that, I'm pretty darn sure that, until tomorrow anyway, is the fact that the, Tokyo 2021 Olympics, or technically, Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games, is the fact that, the actual, closing ceremony on the forms of Tokyo 2021 is going to be approaching until at some point tomorrow. So either way though, something's worth classifying for such, and yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to see what the next Olympic Games is going to be. Because obviously tomorrow is going to be Sunday the 8th of August, so even then though, I'm pretty excited to see what's going to be up next for the actual Olympic Games department. So, well, I already do know one thing in mind, is the fact that the next Summer Olympics will be Paris, in the forms of France, in 2024. So that will be about, well, let's just say about 3 years time now. So because of that though, well, it seems it's kind of obvious that about the fact that we were expecting that, well, you know what I mean. But, of course, the next Olympic Games we'll expect to see, and as the forms of the continuation of the Winter Olympics, which it takes place in the forms of, well, obviously Beijing 2022. So, in fact, let me know in the comments below for the question of the day. What do you think about the actual Tokyo 2021 Olympics so far? Well, technically 2020, but despite it's been, you know, delayed and stuff like that. But regardless of anything else though, is the fact that I was hoping I can get ourselves a glorious new record, but I didn't get enough chance to. So, oh well. No big deal. I'll take the actual win anyway, so what gives anyway. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much about it in terms of the minigame battle. So, again, it's very standard stuff. If you ever played Mario Party 2 and Mario Party 3 and Mario Party 4 before, then you probably expect by that point. And it looks like that 2 players are in tie for last place. So, if these 2 players manage to tie to each other, basically they're about to participating in this little lock thing right here, and then basically, oh, Wario's gonna go onto the left, and of course, Waluigi's gonna go onto the right Fly Guy. And basically, it's like a 50-50 chance between either 3rd or 4th, depending on what position they're in, at least assuming if they burst the balloon. So in this case, Wario is in 3rd, and then Waluigi's in 4th. So, yeah, that's pretty much how this goes. So either way though, yeah, that's as far as I can say about it. Although Luigi was in 2nd place, so I think it should be fine as it is. And I somehow win from the likes of the minigame battle. So with all these little stamps combined, this means that we could able to actually reveal something like, well, as soon as this little rainbow spirals managed to come in, a nice little trophy. How nice. How nice of you, mister. But yeah, that's pretty much about it. So either way though, yeah, and after that though, it shows you the actual results, the final results I should say. So again, there's nothing right to home about besides the fact that if you ever play those, you know, modes like this before. So anyways, let's move on to the next mode.